Dorrigo, California made the commitment to partner with the Breast Cancer Research Foundation in 1999. Our goal was to support an organization that was making a positive health impact in the lives of families around the world as a means to align with our company mission. Since 1923, our third-generation farm family has been growing, packing, and shipping quality produce and implementing solutions and sustainable farming practices to provide healthful vegetables under the Andy Boy label to inspire a healthy lifestyle. The BCRF's mission to prevent and cure breast cancer by advancing the world's most promising research really resonated with us. That was so important to us. Their organization continues to move the needle to drive cancer breakthroughs, make global impacts, advance cancer care and education, which is why we continue to support their mission. And now I'm honored to introduce our friends from the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Myra Biblowitz is the president and CEO of the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, a role she has held for over 2 decades. Congratulations on that. During Myra's tenure, BCRF's funding has enabled many of the most important breakthroughs in breast cancer research. Dr. Dorea L. Ashry is BCRF's Chief Scientific Officer. After 3 decades as a breast cancer researcher, she joined BCRF in 2019 to lead and set the scientific vision each year that assures BCRF's dollars are invested for maximum yield. Myra, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to see everyone. I'm delighted to be here today with John and Dr. Dorea L. Ashry, my valued colleague who leads the science part of BCRF. What sets BCRF apart is our laser-sharp focus on research. We never waver from that mission, and indeed, our researchers have been part of every single breakthrough in breast cancer prevention, diagnosis, treatment, survivorship, and metastasis. We stand today as the largest private funder of breast cancer research in the world and the most highly rated organization in the country. The proof is in the pudding. Indeed, research is the reason that more women and men than ever are surviving and thriving after breast cancer. In fact, today, there are the largest number of survivors ever in history, 4 million people in the US alone. That is unequivocal evidence that research truly saves lives. Since BCRF was founded, deaths from breast cancer have dramatically declined by 40%. Research is the reason we have more refined diagnostics and targeted therapies that are improving outcomes and saving lives. Truly, there's light at the end of the tunnel, but funding is the barrier to moving the needle forward. We're closer than we've ever been, but the urgency and the opportunity to prevent and cure breast cancer has never been greater. Most recently, the World Health Organization announced that breast cancer is now the most frequently diagnosed cancer in the world, surpassing lung cancer for the first time. Dorea, tell us about the critical juncture we find ourselves at today.
Thank you, Myra. Well, this year is the 50th anniversary of the Cancer Act. And research is the reason we have made such tremendous progress and gains over the last 30 years or so. And yet, as you mentioned, incidence is on the rise around the world. 1 in 8 women will still get breast cancer in her lifetime. And notably, 1 in 3 women diagnosed with breast cancer will have a recurrence. And the number of women living with and dying from metastatic disease has also risen. Importantly, the rate of breast cancer mortality decline has slowed in the last few years. And so we are at a critical inflection point. We can't stop, and we can't even maintain the status quo. We need to double down on progress, and research is the reason we can gain on this disease.
Of course, we have to address the undeniable impact that COVID-19 has had on patients. We already have studies showing that the pandemic caused a steep decline in breast cancer diagnoses. It's not because breast cancer went away and suddenly disappeared. It's because fewer people were being screened. Unfortunately, experts predict that we will now see a result of this postponed treatment that will reverberate for decades, an acceleration of later stage diagnoses ahead. What do people need to know, Dorea, in this time of the pandemic?
Well, if your annual screening appointment was canceled, please don't forget to reschedule it. If there's something you're concerned about, call your doctor. Things have changed since the start of the pandemic, and by and large, it's safe to go to the doctor or a hospital as long as you wear a mask and practice social distancing from other patients. You don't want to delay a diagnosis of breast cancer. The whole benefit to screening is early detection. That is, we get it before it spreads. We know that the 5-year survival rate for breast cancer caught early is 99%. So get in there and get it done. For now, mammograms are the best tool we have for screening. If your doctor informs you that you have dense breasts, which is very common, in fact, at least 40% of women have dense breasts, then you may also be asked to get a whole breast ultrasound or an MRI. BCRF researchers are working on new technologies to help early breast cancer detection by improving accuracy and reducing false positives, as well as by moving to risk-based screening rather than solely age-based. But another truly alarming fact is that even as the need for more effective treatments becomes acute with the prediction of an increase in late-stage diagnoses, research funding is on the decline. But really, now is the time to double down on research, because if we're going to save lives tomorrow, we need to save research today. Even just 1 year of lost funding could result in a decade's worth of lost science, and we can't afford that.
Dorea, everyone wants to know what prevention strategies are out there, and certainly BCRF's research has demonstrated that nutrition and diet are important factors, and that underscores the significance of our partnership with Dorigo. Tell us about the latest recommendations for patients who are looking at ways and opportunities to reduce their breast cancer risk.
Well, based on research, we know that while there are very specific things you can do when it comes to nutrition and health, really the most important takeaway is overall wellness. This can impact not just reducing your breast cancer risk, but also the risk of recurrence and even ease the experience of treatments. But keep in mind there is no guaranteed method to eliminate all your risk. All we can do is find the right mix of these ingredients that allow them to be sustainable lifestyle choices, because consistency is more important than bursts of change that don't last. BCRF research has shown that maintaining a well-balanced diet high in fruits, vegetables, and plant-based protein sources, and low in alcohol and red meat can help lower your risk of breast cancer and even improve outcomes after a diagnosis. So incorporate proper nutrition into your diet, such as eating leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, and foods that are rich in vitamin D and fiber. These foods are particularly important for their anti-inflammatory effects, which we know impacts cancer risk. And in mitigating breast cancer specifically, it's also important to start these behaviors early with your kids. BCRF-funded research shows that the impact of diet is particularly important during childhood and adolescence, and young girls and teens who eat a more plant-based diet have a lower risk later in life. So make sure everyone in your family is getting their fiber from foods like Andy Boy Broccoli Rob. John, would you like to share a few Broccoli Rob health facts with us?
Thank you. Yes, Dorea. We at Dorigo Brothers of California feel privileged to grow really what we feel is the best medicine. As studies show, a diet rich in fresh fruits and vegetables can lower blood pressure, reduce the risk of obesity, glycemic disorders, cancers, and cardiovascular diseases. Broccoli Rob, for example, contains over 20 vitamins, minerals, fiber, phytochemicals, and antioxidants, which provide defense against disease development. It contains nutrients that you might not expect to get from a vegetable, like protein and calcium. Broccoli raw contains phytochemicals. Phyto is the Greek word for plant. And some of these chemicals, such as enzymes and glucosinolates, work together to produce anti-cancer and anti-inflammatory benefits, which are associated with cancer prevention and improved heart health. The nutritional composition of broccoli raw is well-rounded and provides a positive adjunct to one's daily diet. Now I turn it back to you, Dorea, so you can highlight the other key health and lifestyle facts.
Thank you so much, John. And might I add that in addition, it's yummy? So exercise is also very important. Do something to get moving every day. The most important recommendation is to reduce sedentary time. And while official guidelines recommend 2.5 hours of moderate intensity exercise per week, like a brisk walk, reducing your daily amount of sedentary time is really the key. And on days you're struggling, just remember, something is better than nothing. Also, reduce alcohol consumption. To date, there's been no amount of alcohol deemed safe for breast cancer, so moderation is more important than ever. And let's talk sleep and stress. Research has shown that sleep and stress are intrinsically linked, and reducing chronic stress is the key. One thing to note is the difference between acute versus chronic stress. Acute stress, like being stressed for a deadline, a test, an important report coming up, is a good thing and actually helps your immune system. Whereas chronic stress, like being stressed every single day, even if it's a low chronic stress, impacts your sleep and overall health. And know your family history on both your mother and father's side of the family. We all get our genes equally from both sides. And know your own body. Self-exams are still important primarily so that you can be aware of any changes to your breasts, and signs can include things other than a lump, such as redness, scaling or dimpling of the skin, thickening of the breast, or a nipple discharge. You have to know what your normal is as your breasts change throughout your cycle. And if something you notice persists through 1 or 2 of your cycles, you should see your doctor. But remember, nothing is a replacement for screening. So if it's time for your mammogram, get it done. And encourage the loved one to take action by scheduling their screenings and sharing your knowledge on how all of these ingredients can come together to impact overall health.
Thank you, Dorea. I invite our listeners to get a wealth of information from BCRF experts. We have videos and podcast interviews on our website. It's bcrf.org. Make no mistake, BCRF could not do what we do, save lives, without the support of our generous donors. Your support is undoubtedly propelling research forward faster. This is what philanthropy makes possible. A BCRF corporate partner since 1999, one of our longest standing partners, Dorrigo, California, has been dedicated to supporting breast cancer research. We are so proud to have our logo alongside the healthy Andy Boy produce and to partner with Dorrigo, California in a mission to eradicate this disease. Dorrigo, California has generously donated $100,000 annually, regardless of sales, and has funded over 40,000 hours of research and over $2 million of research to date. John, our gratitude to you and all at Dorrigo runs deep.
Thank you, Myra. Our more than 2 decades of partnership with BCRF is deeply meaningful to our consumers, customers, our employees, because of its authentic origin. Our family's proud to partner with you. Our approach to growing food as medicine is intrinsically linked to BCRF's mission of saving lives through research. We're honored to partner with you over year after year to ensure a healthy future for our mothers, our daughters, sisters, and friends. Thank all of you for joining us today.
It's our pleasure.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.